Hey, my name is Jerome and welcome to Gentleman Becoming, where I help you build confidence through utilizing your wardrobe, fragrance, and of course, health and fitness. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to properly do some movements I've included in my high intensity interval training videos. And once you watch this, you'll be ready to tackle the 20-minute HIIT training video I've posted and the dumbbell alternative. Always remember to pick quality over quantity. Your form is more important than the reps you think you can do. And obviously consult a physician before engaging in diets and workout routines. I also suggest warming up and stretching before every workout. And if you're somebody who is into fragrances and wardrobe but not into working out, I think this is a great segue video. So let's get into it. First movement is dumbbell straight raises. They're meant to replicate like battle ropes if you don't have battle ropes, so this is a great alternative for that. First, you want to get into a proper stance, about shoulder width or a little bit wider than that. And then you want to keep a slight bend in your arms, as you can see here. And position the weights in front of you. Next, you're going to raise one at a time, about face level if you can get up there. No higher than that. You don't need to go higher. That's going to cause impingement in your shoulders. And then you just want to alternate. You want to be in control of the weight the entire time, from the way down to back up. Don't go into a swinging motion. You need to be in control of it, and that means you need to activate your core. You're going to want to choose a light weight for this exercise. Anything heavier than this is going to burn you out entirely. I mean, experiment with it though. I would try 2.5, 5 pounds, 7.5, 10 pounds. I'm using 10 pounds here and it gasses me out pretty quick. You can also do this with plates, like small plates that are 2.5 pounds, 5 pounds. Next up, we have medicine ball slams. And where the movement starts really is at the squat. So first we're going to pick up the ball, and I'm already in squat position. I already have my stance wide and ready to rock and roll. And as I pick the ball up, I'm going to drive it into the ground with enough force to cause the ball to bounce a little bit. As I'm driving it down, I'm going to squat. So you can see here I'm starting to prepare my squat, and the ball's going to bounce a little bit, and because I'm squatted down, I'm going to catch it. So I'm going to catch it as it bounces. And catch. And then I stand up, drive it into the ground with enough bounce so that I catch it when I'm squatted. So that's all it is. You're driving it into the ground, squatting to catch it, putting it back up over your head, and going down. And you're just going into a rhythm. Next up, we have dumbbell swings or kettlebell swings. Either one. I'm just using a dumbbell here. And it's pretty much a pre-squat, and then you're thrusting to generate momentum and letting your arms just hang on to the dumbbell or to the kettlebell. Now with a kettlebell, the tighter you squeeze it, the more it will transfer that power over. With a dumbbell, it's kind of difficult, but same concept applies. So you're starting in a stance that's a little bit wider than shoulder width, or you can do shoulder width, whatever feels comfortable for you. And you're squatting on the way down. Stay in control of the weight the entire time though, but just anticipate that it's going to pull you down a little bit. And when it does, that's when you start to squat. Now you don't have to get very low. Your butt doesn't have to be parallel with your knees, but you do want to squat a little bit. And then you want to thrust. You want to squeeze your glutes as you thrust, and that's the momentum that's being generated. You can either swing at face level or a little bit above, or you can keep it at chest level. Next, we have dumbbell deadlifts and overhead press. If you see here on my way down, I'm letting the weight carry me, pull me a little bit to get into my squat. Then I'm lifting up with momentum to drive over my head. So see here, I'm letting the weight pull me down essentially so I can get into my squat. Then I'm generating momentum to get the dumbbells by my shoulders, and I'm pressing up. Here I'm driving up, overhead press, bringing it back down to my shoulders, then letting it swing forward just a little bit and letting that gravity pull me into my squat. On the way down, you want to make sure that your back's straight. Now, here's an example of right and wrong. This is right. This one is wrong. And you can rewind that and check it out, but the reason it's wrong is because I'm standing up and I'm bending my arms to bring the weight by my shoulders. That's called a hammer curl, and that's not what we're doing. The next exercise is single arm dumbbell rows, and contrary to popular belief, this is not a bicep exercise. Bicep is there to support, but this is focused on your back. This is a back exercise. The more parallel your chest is with the ground, the better off you'll be. The first thing we should focus on is grip. If you have thumb in, like I just showed you, or thumb, underneath the bar, it's gonna hit your forearm a little bit differently and kind of the muscles that are transferring that power. But just switch it like I do and see what's more comfortable for you. Get in a pre-lunge position and pull the dumbbell up to about hip level, maybe up to your ribs, just like I'm doing here. Now, if you keep your elbow close to your body, that's gonna focus more on your back. If you keep your elbow further away from your body, almost like wide, that's gonna hit your lats a little bit more. Those are like your wings. It's important to think of your arm as a lever here. So when you get into that pre-lunge position like right now, and you're doing the rows itself, you want palm facing in or palm facing behind you, and you want to pull that way. You can also do palm facing out, like in front of you, and that'll hit your biceps a little bit more. This is an exercise I love to do, but man, is it tough. Burpees, very popular calisthenic and notorious for being difficult. Now, the way I do mine are very calculated. As you can see, my feet are together and I kick them out into a plank and push up. Then, once I'm at the top, I jump forward and get ready into my squat jump. And then that's how I do my jump. Now, it's simple, but there are two things you need to focus on. First one is having your feet together for your push-up like this. And when you kick them forward, widen your stance. Boom. See how my feet are wide now? And then I'm jumping. They start narrow, but here in slow motion, you can see as I'm kicking my feet forward, I widen my stance. And that's gonna get me ready for my jump squat. Then, when they're wide and I jump, I bring them together because that's gonna get me ready for my push-up. So once I land, I get back down to my push-up position. I kick them out together, widen them as I bring them forward, and that's it. And this is what it looks like. We also have dumbbell short jumps, and this exercise is tough because you're going to feel the burn in your shoulders, and it's going to be difficult to breathe, but that's normal. Now, when you're holding the weight, don't hold it too low. Hold it up on your chest and make sure it's making contact with it. And lock your elbows in a way that your biceps aren't being used to hold up the weight. Otherwise, that's completely going to drain you while you're jumping. You'll feel the burn in your shoulders, and that's normal. And it will be tough to breathe, but you want to have the mentality that like you're jumping rope, and you want to bend your knees a little bit to absorb that shock. You'll definitely feel it in your calves, and that's pretty much what it's all about. If you feel it in your back, then you need to slow down the jumps. Now, obviously, you don't have somebody to throw the ball to you, so enter overhead medicine ball catches. Now, if you're doing one of my workout videos, I tell you when to start and when to stop. That means you don't have to look at the clock. When you're doing it by yourself, you might have to keep count in your head of the timer, or you just will have to get off rhythm and look at the clock real quick. So it makes it a little difficult to count the amount of reps that you're doing versus the time doing it. But to do the exercise, you're going to throw it up over your head and you're going to catch it. Use your elbows and your knees to absorb the shock. That's okay. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more difficult, then slightly bend your knees like this, but don't bend them so much as a suspension, and just focus on your shoulders. And then finally, we have planking. So get a cushion for your elbows and position your body like this. Keep your body parallel to the ground. You don't want to arch your back, and you don't want to dip too low. Otherwise, you're not getting the right contraction in your core. You want to stay just like this and clench your glutes. Force yourself to breathe here. It's important. And if you struggle with doing it like that, here's an alternative. It's almost like a push-up, except you're not doing the push-up. Thank you very much. I hope that you learned something from this video, and now you're ready to tackle my HIIT workouts. I'll leave them in a playlist together, so like that you can just watch this video once and then you can do both of the workout videos going ahead. Make sure that you focus on quality over quantity. Technique is important. Anybody can do something fast and sloppy, but to make it look good and to master the technique, that's something few are willing to put the time in to do. Don't be like that. Be different. Only you are capable of the results that you produce, and that means you have to put the work in.